just going to destroy on blue side until eventually Top Esports wins Game 5?
Well, that's the big question. Is T1, I feel like obviously we know blue side's an advantage, but even so, I feel like their draft was pretty rough in that Game 1. So with the momentum for Game 2, maybe can find a better advantage here and potentially look to kind of break Top Esports blue side pick.
I think it's really going to be about the adaptation here.
Ooh,
I think
there we go.
T1 have identified that Tristana is a problem. They're happy to remove both of these AD carries and play a different game. Faker's Ahri, Faker's Azir. These picks that he's so known for. Taliyah that's been targeted against in both games, maybe even in this third game as well. We'll see what Top Esports decide to do. These are picks T1 can rely on. They don't have to play double AD carry. They don't have to stick with the meta that's been the last 3 weeks of LCK domestic play. The Gnar ban leaves that pick open. The Taliyah I'm mentioning. If we'll see the Rumble ban coming through here for T1. I expect it, and there it is.
Wonder what this does to the Corki priority. Is obviously we've seen him struggle against a Tristana, but no Tristana means you can put that priority in, and I feel like...
I have an idea, and we've seen this one perhaps before. And it's called Azir versus Corki.
Oh, don't, please don't.
Now, Ashe, a very strong flexible pick here for T1. They've played it support so many times. And grab the Azir here. And with the Vi gone, I think the stocks of the Ahri pick go way down. The Taliyah goes significantly down. It's still a matchup he's absolutely playable, but it's Faker's Azir, a pick he has leaned into throughout his entire career, and he is one of the most famous Azir players. Let's just say he's the most famous Azir player of all time. And when you look at what this potentially sets up is a lot of AD jungle picks for Oner, and this gets really complex right now for Top Esports because picks like the Iverns, those stocks go way down when you have Emperor's Divide for Engage. You have potential Lee Sin pick that can invade the jungle and push Tion back. Even the Zyra, a fairly risky pick here, but they'll opt in anyways.
Yeah, we've seen the Zyra struggle into the Ashe in particular. That pick potential really effective that you can use at a distance. They do end up locking the Renekton in as well, so... Definitely a top side of the map where it's about setting the pace of the game, a fast clear jungler, 2 laners who you're looking to get prio out of, but T1 don't seem too concerned. And the thing to know is at Top Esports, we expect the Corki mid, so they haven't really locked in anything for the bot lane, and T1 looking to secure what might be just a really powerful 2v2, but instead they will go for the Nidalee, so even with the AP mid laner, still happy to secure that pick.
Not a huge fan of the Nidalee here in this particular position, just simply because I think Oner has a fantastic Lee Sin, for example. Xin Zhao he could have played here to really put the pressure on Tion in a more direct way instead of just trying to outspeed and catch up with the Zyra. The Nidalee can follow up on arrows incredibly well, so that's a good sign for what they could potentially get done in the bottom lane. But I feel like the Zyra is going to have such a larger impact. Ziggs is kind of a no-brainer here, one of the best wave clear bottom champions that could play into this Ashe lane. We don't know if it's going to be support or AD carry, but either way, the Ziggs is probably your best bet. Strong ban here for T1.
Yeah, I wonder if they start to look towards the Leona that we've seen Mako play a lot during the tournament, maybe even the Nautilus. If you're thinking of playing that Ashe support, the long-range pick potential the Nautilus provides really powerful. And Top Esports just trying to ban away the pairings that can go well with the Ashe, understanding it is such a powerful flex. And the goal of T1 is to make that 2v2 really uncomfortable. They'll lock top lane on 4 for Zeus, and then keep their options alive till 5 picks. So Top Esports clearly going for a powerful top side for pressure, and T1 are investing heavily in that bot lane, and really that's where I'm looking for Oner to sort of lean towards and get that pressure.
Well, right now, we've got one more ban to come through from Top Esports' side. We'll see what it is going to be as the Braum is actually taken away. So no doors in this game. We've seen Braum for the last couple, but not this time. So Mako going to have to jump onto something else this time, and maybe, and in fact, we'll actually see another unique champion. Mako's only played Braum and Leona so far. As the Malphite is just... Okay, never mind. Oh,
that was such a bait!
So trolled!
The picks that stood out to me here were definitely Cassante and even the potential Mordekaiser, but you've got a lot of magic damage in this draft. I think you want to shy away from that and go this.
It wasn't even a good Malphite angle, but I still got so excited.
And it's another magic profile there that you didn't necessarily want. This allows Keria to have counter pick, and he can play Varus into any lane that they pick here and feel comfortable. They can also play something completely different. The Draven was still left available. There's so many dual lanes with this Ashe that they can play into the Sivir. We've seen do incredibly well, great into lane swaps. So it's really the pick of the litter here for T1. We'll see what that AD carry pick is going to be for JackeyLove. The Ezreal is so strong in this meta, but feels so risky into a lane matchup like this.
I feel like they probably want a little bit more consistent damage, or just JackeyLove's Draven. as it was hovered by T1. I don't think T1 are going to be surprised by this, but I think they should still be wary of it because this guy is pretty good at this champion. And there it is, locked away for JackieLove. And this is looking like a pretty meta composition on the side of Top Esports.
To me, this makes it way too dangerous to put the Ashe into support role and have those double 80 carries, double squishies bot. We've seen Tien on the Zyra use that fast clear speed to heavily impact bot. So if you're playing, you know, something that is squishy, something that is vulnerable into Draven Nautilus, you're going to have a bad time. So they instead go for the Renata. Pretty good matchup in the Nautilus. Obviously, Top Esports already banned away the Braum, which could have been another defensive pick, but the main goal here is to try and mitigate that aggressive pressure Top Esports have brought out in the bot lane.
My biggest concern here for Top Esports is that we're moving into a world where Faker has
to hear the chants one more time. And so that's why we made sure that we had a brief pause to get him up there once again. Thank you so much for that one. And now it is time. We are on to the Rift for game number 3 to see who pulls ahead and who reaches that 2-1 mark.
The build-up, the hype for this game been pretty big. Fortunately, some delays, but I feel like we have interesting drafts on our hand. Both teams 1-1, and we are hopefully getting that close series we're looking for.
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming, and now we get to see it realized here on the Rift. Keria Guma topside here.
Oh, they've done it 2 games in a row. The little battle, 369 testing himself. And now they're going to get a little bit impatient, not wait for him to come on over. The frost shot, though, is going to stop 369 from being able to walk too far. The handshake, he's going to connect as the slice flash has to come in. Big value here for T1 topside.
And you can see it's one of these situations where you really don't want to level your E first on Renekton, so you're holding it like, please don't make me start E. But in the end, you have to burn both, you know, flash down and the E used, and you're low on health as well, so T1 can take firm control as topside and establish some vision. Really heads up play, and I feel like, you know, you talked about it. They were always battling level 1. You can really punish players' tendencies when you start to read them like that.
And it was G2 versus T1 where they punished Faker for that one ward that he put down over and over again. They come in, they managed to collapse on that play. T1 doing a very similar thing on that top side, reading the tendencies of these players. Yeah. I love to see that.
You can even remember back to game 1 where we saw the aggressive play from 369 on the Renekton the same way. T1 expecting he's going to go up there and try to trade with the Cassante, suss out whether there's a lane swap or not, and it's a great punish. So flash down, E start. This gives a huge edge to Zeus. Keria and Guma are going to return to lane here. We won't actually have a commitment to any lane swaps here at level 1. And now the jungle clear begins.
Well, Hook gonna connect here already. They're doing battle. JackieLove trying to land these axes. Gumayusi still at full health, able to throw down the arrows. As I say that, he cops the axe to the head. It's gonna be all right. 369 utilizing that level 1 E.
Yeah, maybe he's just gonna embrace it now, you know, get the touches in. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, Renekton, not the strongest level 1 champion regardless, so Zeus will have a bit of a better time. But still, don't expect too much to come from that. But really, the bot lane is what is exciting to me, because a lot of power on both the 80 carries, even from level 1. And Mako, there's opportunities to make things happen on Nautilus, but it's so delicate against a Renata.
Certainly is. And Renata, in a lot of matchups, the interaction with the bailout is a high damage champion like the Draven we see on the other side, like a Kalista, and you do so much damage, the bailout gives you just a few more autos and you get the reset. Can work very well with Nidalee dives as well, though, because it gives Nidalee that extra oomph. Is Mila over here?
Yeah, more hooks coming down. Another great handshake to answer. Really getting the value out of the Renata here, is even the passive doing some work, as Mako has to flash. The frost shot, I mean, in these extended trades, the Ashe value is so high if you can win. There's now Cream possibly in trouble, unless Oner is in trouble, because Tien's moving up. There's the flash. And then Nidalee has to slink away, as 369 not going to be in turret range. Zeus almost in kill range, but he is going to be all right as he does get himself out of there. No flash for the Renekton meant that he was a little bit safer.
Yeah, Oner really wants to apply the pressure down on this bot side. They know exactly where Tien has been because of that ward from earlier.
Yeah, Oner hops on over the wall, as now he might be hopping back again, because JackieLove and Mako are going to move on over. Keria in the vicinity as well, able to play bouncer, as there's a lot of testing the waters, not a lot of actual results here just yet, even though that flash was burnt earlier on. It's a very early teleport here from Zeus, so 369 was still with a lot of control of the top side.
Yeah, bottom side here. Oner fishing for a little bit of harass, trying to take some camps away, relatively unsuccessful here. Did have to flash, as you mentioned, but he does not want to give the Zyra any space.
Yeah, Spear going to connect there in the grasping roots, not doing a whole lot. Flash has to be used. And thankfully, the Spear is going to miss as Tien not going to get followed over that wall. As Faker and Cream, we haven't really checked in on this mid lane, but so far it's looking pretty even.
Oner's doing such a fantastic job on this Nidalee, you know, really trying to play as aggressive as possible. You'll see his blue side quadrant still hasn't been touched, so he can go back to that when he needs to, but just trying as much as possible to challenge Tien's camps. And the added benefit of this is we've seen when the Zyra's unchallenged, he will just go bot lane with that free time. You're not getting any free time now. You're not even getting the normal time you have to clear camps, and now Oner is the one looking to apply some pressure bot.
And you're making this an unfair fight in the bottom lane. Mako here can deter a lot of dives because he is Nautilus, but, I mean, Bailout's pretty strong.
There are 3 towards his bottom side, but Mako is going to catch the wall. Gumayusi still has to flash to get himself out of the way, and Mako will survive for the moment. Oner slinking away, and T1 once again thwarted in this aggression.
And T1 are just making this an unfair fight here. They're trying to fight fire with this Draven pick in the draft, but these Ashe slows, the spears connecting, the harassment constantly here from Oner. This makes it so tough to play out here. A small CS deficit now for Jackie Love, but just constant pressure there on the bottom side. Yes, the Renekton is winning top side without any assistance, but the Cassante should be able to hold down his ground. We hadn't checked in on this mid lane, as you mentioned, Atlas, all too much, but you can see now Cream starting to pick up some big advantages here. So he hits level 6. Did already teleport though, and now is out of mana. So Faker holding down the fort can TP back to lane.
Now we're gonna get a situation where Oner can just clear through his camps now, and after this full rotation, we'll likely look towards bot again. Tier 2 boots picked up by Guma here. Obviously doesn't have the flash, but that movement speed advantage when you're playing the Ashe is so suffocating. We've seen whenever Mako tries to aggress, the double autos between the Renata and the Ashe, so hard to deal with in those extended trades. And with the bailout, you know, you really have to be ahead in a trade, ahead and all in, if you're going to be able to win the 2v2. Otherwise, you're not getting out again against the Frost arrows.
Yeah, and you don't have the same execute potential. You already mentioned this, Wolf, in the fact that, you know, Kalista has an execute, Draven has an execute. It's why you see them paired up alongside the Renata, just because you can guarantee bailouts a little bit easier. But Gumayusi, he does have the battle summoner advantage. The barrier gets to be taken, cleanse into Ashe is almost a necessity. And so T1 should be able to get these winning trades towards that bottom side. They're also going to be able to trade the Dragon for some grubs. 3 grubs going over to top Esports is certainly a good thing, though, especially with this Renekton winning side lanes. And he might be winning even more as Zeus. A very quick flash going to have to be invested here.
Down here on the bottom side, continue to put this pressure on. Should be able to secure a plate here on the next wave. Won't be this one here for the side of T1. We'll see if they decide to back with this cannon wave here. I do not think so. Gonna try to get that extra advantage. They got the Dragon bottom side here. We have Infernal and Cloud, so not necessarily sure what we're gonna see in terms of Soul here, but a good start for T1 considering this is not a split pushing competition for top Esports. Zeus in a little bit of danger.
That's gonna be a punish as the all-out does come on through, but Oner is in position, does manage to land that spear, sneaks it past Tien and connects onto 369, but that means that they are going to back away. And this wave state is still in a little bit of a rough spot. 369 looking to actually push that one out, so not going to be frozen on Zeus just yet.
Yeah, ended up in a really unfortunate position there, Zeus, because obviously he got away from the gang, but the wave state was still bad, so Tien hung about, but I think played that as well as he could to disengage from the situation. See some heavy trading in the mid lane, but not too sure much is going to come from it.
That's all we've been seeing with this Azir Corki matchup these days. There's the Flash Emperor's Divide, though the spear's going to connect, and first blood goes to Oner in a blink of an eye.
Not necessarily the CC setup for a spear that you normally think of, but when it's timed this well from Oner, you certainly can line those up.
Oner looking for even more here as Tien thought that he could come on over and collect his Raptor camp. Not going to happen as Oner is really starting to put the screws in, and this is good Nidalee play when you can put this level of pressure on.
And you see like just how the map is playing out, the aggression from T1. Mid lane gets that advantage, which is fantastic, so Oner can push in the jungle. Bot lane has been pushing constantly. Top lane, you're happy to sacrifice that one to get favor elsewhere. They'll steal away the red, Oner can jump away. And again, they're just trying to set this Zyra behind as much as possible. And here, Faker with a fantastic read on Cream, just the instantaneous ult, and you see Cream try to Valkyrie. He had the flash in that situation, but just got caught off guard.
Yeah, a bit caught off guard. I think a bit of a panic there. Not able to react in time. And the spear does connect. Bottom side, You do see that we have a rotation over of Tian. Oner has kind of gotten a little bit disinterested. There's nothing really more for him to take down. The Dragon not up. So that plate on the bottom side still up. Guma and Keria weren't able to take that one. A small CS advantage down here, but JackeyLove and Mako really holding their own as those Draven Adoration stacks start to come through. There is a really big spike in team fights coming up here if Faker doesn't have his ultimate or if he's not in position where you can Draven ult globally into one of these fights. Topside second grubs here may be where that does happen. We may see JackeyLove rotate over. An early cash in here for top esports is exactly what they would love to see. T1 need to respect this because Zyra ultimate in these early skirmishes, JackeyLove's early damage output with the BF sword he's now picked up. These are big tools that could snowball this game back into TES's favor if T1 make a mistake.
I also feel like it's super dangerous because ever since they added the execute on Draven's ult that scales with stacks, before that, if Draven was sitting on stacks, there was no benefit to it. You just wanted to cash in. But now you become more and more dangerous as you're stacking those up. So it's not enough that Draven doesn't cash in. You need to kill him and reset the stacks, or suddenly you get a team fight and his ult might just one-shot someone.
Oh, Gumayusi, he's going to go for the arrow here. Connects it onto Cream as Faker. Not actually going to go for any follow-up because there was kind of no one in the area. It was a cute-looking arrow, though.
It was a flex. It's to show he can do what JackeyLove does. The follow-up wasn't there, but he can still land them.
Yep, Keria going to throw out the heal just to avoid the hook, as we could see some scuffling, some jockeying for position here in the mid lane, but ultimately not too much to come from it. Oner now searching for a spear. That minion certainly taking a fair bit of damage. It's the logistics protocol coming on through, and it is going to be T1 just getting control of the wave. Same thing for top esports. It's Gumayusi versus JackeyLove once again here towards the bottom side. Gumayusi with his turret, and JackeyLove not going to go for anything overly aggressive, as now the grubs are going to get started. Oner wants to be able to grab at least the first one, does do that. Could be 5-1. Would be pretty powerful here for top esports, especially with that top side control. Speaking of which, 369 and Zeus fighting at the top of your screen right there. Still, top esports retain control. They will be able to take these grubs.
Yeah, and I feel like just the fact that even if they get one grub for T1, like their focus is be on the bot side, they're looking to secure these dragons, so even taking one grub is still decent for them, as much as they're not able to contest the full amount. And now you can see once again pushing aggressively, taking these camps, dragging up in 30, but this is TS's attempt to make a crossplay.
TS does have his flashback up and available here, so it is going to be very difficult to commit here, even with the ultimate from Tian. Can you get the root?
Yeah, Zeus just going to be killing some plants, getting a little bit of extra money as Tian will usher him away from this outer turret. Some more plate gold to go on over as 369 with that demolish. A few of these plates could be leaving here as cannon minions abound. As bottom side of the map, you can see it's another cannon wave being pushed in by T1. They'll grab that plate you've been talking about, Wolf, as well as another one. But top esports are looking at a full turret, and that should be taken here.
Full turret is going to be first brick here to go over to top esports to this Renekton that's already so massively ahead in farm. You can see this is going to push him over 1,000 gold, the advantage. But bottom side, the Dragon going over may be more valuable here with those plates. We'll see what that soul is going to be as soon as that smite goes down. It's Chemtech. Ox on the finals.
Ox,
and here we are. So T1 definitely feeling worse about the trade now, but that's sometimes the luck of the draw.
Yeah, I mean, I will say at least they have a decent amount of healing and shield in the composition between the Nidalee and the Renata, but still definitely not the soul you were hoping for when you've invested so heavily in the bot lane. And really, you're looking at the Ashe, and who has been given a bunch of that plate gold and has a decent CS lead to provide a lot of the value. The Nidalee as well, Oner with a significant lead in the jungle matchup, but game still feels on a nice edge, and I feel like JackeyLove's stacks building up. The cash in, whether it comes through or not, is really going to dictate a lot in this game.
Feeling like a crocodile's edge to me, as 369 has so much extra money, 1,200 above the second highest, as Oner, of course, has had a good game himself, but so much reward going over as that first brick does come in, as Mako looking to clear out some vision. A lot of T1 wards in this bottom side jungle. 4 minutes until the Dragon, though, so not a whole lot of reason to be in this bottom side river right now. As you can see, Faker just clearing out minion waves in the bottom lane for now.
The Renata ultimate is going to be so valuable into this Renekton. Handshake as well can be great to peel for Guma, for Faker, anyone who could potentially be caught by this Renekton. The Renekton advantage is huge. It's a lot of topside control. It's very frustrating to deal with, but Thornmail should be enough for Zeus to keep this Crocodile at bay. So that was a close call there. And then, you know, there is a world where T1 still won that first fight. I think right now the game state looks massively favored to Top Esports, maybe from the untrained eye because of this Renekton advantage, but it's still really on a nice edge. This first fight win is going to be what starts it all off.
And I think both teams have been kind of pushing their advantage, finding areas to get a little gold lead, but we haven't had the big explosive fight yet, and it feels like they're both very tentative approaching this. They know how snowball the games have been, they know how volatile the compositions are, so they're prodding and poking, trying to find opportunities. Top Esports going to move over the Herald here and start it up, and maybe T1 see this as their chance to start a fight.
Faker has TP as he pushes this side lane too, so you can get the turret and still join the fight. There's the timing window.
Zeus moving on in here. You can see Arrow at the ready for Gumayusi if they do want to start a fight, but they want to land one of these spears first. Start to connect some of the poke. As 369 moving on in. Cream's there towards the bottom side of the map as well. And he can stop Faker from teleporting over. There is the Rift Tail being picked up by Tien as the Arrow is going to barely miss onto Top Esports. And they'll make it out just fine. Emperor's Divide was used here on this bottom side as Faker is going to use the buffed up Honeyfruit to speed his way out. Oh, the Whirling Death comes in as 369 still chasing. Jackie Love is punished though! And Oner's just going to execute him. I was watching the picture-in-picture and he just pops.
Oh, it's such bad news for Top Esports, and now they're going to get punished again. Two members underneath this tower. Remember, Tien has no flash.
Oh, hostile takeover comes on through, and that's going to be an easy pickup. Tien, the one in trouble, and Zeus able to tank up that turret so comfortably they can reset as Cream. He comes in. That's going to mean that Mako at least survives as 369 still trying to find some value here. There's the flash from Gumayusi, and he gets himself out, but that flash, a big cooldown. Next time 369 goes for this, Gumayusi should be dead.
And even though the gold lead hasn't changed much, the impact of that play, the death of Jackie Love to follow up onto Tien is massive for this game. A brutal blow struck by T1, and they're going to be feeling a lot more confident now.
Absolutely, those stacks gone. So frustrating to deal with this. Now T1 still get the turret bottom side. Faker doesn't teleport here, and Jackie Love just has no vision. He's so focused on trying to set something up for 369 bottom lane with his ultimate that he's not able to actually see what's coming here. They get the follow-up play here top side as well, and it's just a huge win here for the side of T1. And now you're looking at a world where Faker gets bottom turret anyways. He didn't have to expend his teleport. No teleport for Cream, who tries to turn that play around. And T1, it's a small gold lead here, but the wind is out of the sails now for Top Esports.
And the tempo advantage of having double teleport over your opposition when they get nothing for using theirs could not be understated. As you see T1 catching this wave in mid lane, and 38 seconds on the Chemtech Drake. They can keep players in side lanes and still contest for this if they would like to, but it's still pretty dark in that river. We'll need that Hawk Shot to really help them out as Spears not quite connecting. But T1, they'll just move their way in, and you can see just how respectfully Top Esports have to play.
Also, no cleanse on Jackie Love and flashes down for the entire top side of Top Esports. I'm looking at Guma's arrow as being a great way to start the fight. We have a 3-0 Nidalee. That spear connects on the back end of an arrow. Someone is going down.
See whether Gumayusi's going to be able to line this one up as the Rift Herald should be able to get a charge here, and it does, but not going to be able to take down the turret or anything like that, as Control Ward here in this brush means that Faker is going to be okay in the Shuriman battle. Keria stunned up for the moment, will lose 50% of his health bar as Gumayusi takes his opportunity to enter the mid lane, start trying to clear this out as best he can. A little bit of an ARAM for now, but it's so much just trying to get positional advantage around this Drake that is freshly spawned. In T1, they want to collect their soul point. Big one gonna fly by here as 369 wanting to find that flank angle. T1's vision is decent, but the Dragon has been started here by Top Esports. Oner off to the side, wanting to stay hidden as he throws out these spears. Jackie Love moving back. See where Gumayusi is gonna fire that arrow as Keria with the information. Handshake now on cooldown.
Fantastic angle for his
going down lower and lower.
Just fighting it out slowly.
Yeah, there's the hook finally going to connect there as now Zeus dives in. He finds the Q, and there's the all-out special delivery from the T1 top laner, but Tien, he's going to survive. Jackie Love gets one back, but now Gumayusi is free hitting in the back line, and it's a double kill for Oner. It almost looked okay until it was domination for T1.
Stack's gonna get reset again.
Falling down, but thankfully the GOAT's gonna be there to help him out.
Yeah, not able to take him down. I mean, the stacks have been reset before, will be reset once again, and just the approach from T1 working so well. The Dragon gets denied, but I don't think they mind at all.
And Keria in that fight on the flank angle with the Renata. The Renekton is constantly trying to push, but can't push through the handshake. So 369 is essentially out of this fight. He's not threatening anybody. And the front line here is Zeus. He goes down to half health, but look at this angle for Keria. So easy to follow up. No one can peel when Xian gets hit by the arrow. And it's a one fight for T1 instantly as 369 tries to ult and cut through. Great positioning from T1. And they don't even need Faker's ult to win this fight. And then Jackie Love hoping he can cash in, knowing it's probably doomed. But he's not winning the true 1v1 because Faker's there. Down go his stacks. And T1 with a 2,000 gold lead now. And we said the win was out of Jackie Love's sails before. It's even worse now.
I'm gonna give huge praise to Guma there because he was flashless. I felt like maybe he'd be a vulnerable target if they got on top of him, but he spaced perfectly, kept away from 369 and got so much damage down, so much slow, so much utility on this Ashe while being untouched until the end, where he obviously got low but managed to finish off Jackie Love. So huge team fight from him, and things have just gone bad to worse for Top Esports. You gotta remember, they had side selection game one. Blue side has been really powerful in this series, and they are looking at being in a really rough spot when they chose to get on blue side in this one. Not an ideal position to be in.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the draft just a little bit because there's one thing that's kind of standing out to me as to what's different for T1 and why they look so much better. And I feel like it's counterpick for Keria. This Renata pick has been so incredibly powerful, and when Zeus gets to answer a pick that's picked relatively early, I think it's very, very powerful for T1 to allow that bottom lane to have that extra oomph and that extra control that they can pick up. Not to mention the fact that Oner has had a great early game.
And that's what you should be doing when you're on red side. I feel like obviously, you know, it's understandable teams have this heavy pride towards blue side, but even in the LCK, we're seeing some teams opting to go for the red side. And if you are on that side, you really need to get value out of that last pick, counter pick, and I think T1 did a much better job of doing that in this game.
It's both great in the 2v2, but it's great into team fights as well. Into the Renekton. The Renekton, the biggest member here for Top Esports, can't walk past a handshake in that last fight, can't get in, is never going to have that much value from behind now into the Berserk to come through. The hostile takeover is so powerful here. And this one pick has really warped this draft. 6 out of 7 KP here for Keria in this game. It's a great shout that you give Atlas. Oner at the same number. He is now finished with his Horizon focus. So setting up for objectives now means you're always under threat of getting chunked out by one of these massive spears.
And have a look at all of this vision for T1. This is just after Top Esports went on a little bit of a clear-out spree of the Baron area. You can see exactly where T1's focus is going to be. As the crab going to be taken here by Oner. That's going to augment that vision even further. Faker able to walk past this turret as this minion wave is getting eaten. And that is going to be another turret to be secured here by T1. It's not a massive gold advantage, right? I think Top Esports still certainly in this game, but the momentum is shifting further and further towards T1. And we saw as the setup happened for that last team fight, the amount of hurdles required to jump over here for Top Esports. They're going to have to really pull something out of a hat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really difficult one, and I feel like T1 have been the ones really setting the pace of the game, and I think the combination of having like such good disengage tools, having the traps from the Nidalee, the hawk shots as well, means getting creative and finding angles of approach is tricky. I think what it might end up being is the best case scenario is you get like a deep TP flank if T1 want to set up an objective, and the key is you have to get 369 on top of the enemy backline. Until that happens, I don't think they win a 5v5.
I don't think so either, and handshake here, arrow.
That's going to get the cleanse out of Jackie Love. Longer cooldown on that one these days.
But continuing the point, you know, I mean, there's not much you can do here as Top Esports with the Renekton in a straight-up 5v5 anymore. And, I mean, looking at the vision, the lack thereof, so difficult to even look up and try to push. They're going to try to shove this wave. Preem on the flank.
Yeah, Keria's going to take a lot of damage here. Desperately doesn't want to use flash. He's going to invest the heal to get himself out of there. And as soon as the handshake missed, Cream saw his window and pounced. I really like the aggressive play as he may have put himself out of position. Faker moves in. The Flash Emperor's Divide is going to get the flash out of Cream. That'll be the trade. Top Esports now looking for their second Chemtech Drake. They were able to take the last one. And now a teleport is coming in. T1, they want to get themselves towards Soul Point as the spear almost does it, but it's going to be the secure hook. He's going to connect onto Keria, but the hostile takeover comes in. The flash gets him out of there. And now it's T1 able to turn it. The flash from Oner almost gets on top of Jackalov, and it's Faker that finishes the job. Double knockup, but it doesn't matter. T1 crush another team fight.
An absolute greedy fight from T1. No Emperor's Divide, not in position, but they commit the TP anyways, knowing that in this game state with the champs they've got and this Renata, they should be able to win the fight if they play it just right. Faker sitting on 2.5 items, so much damage, and this is post-Baron, so they're able to win the fight on Dragon, albeit they lose it, and then go straight to the Purple Worm. T1, that was extremely risky, but it pays off.
I feel like the big thing for me is Top Esports ended up so split with 3 of them in the pit, 2 of them off to the side, and when they went for the engage, T1 able to disengage to a comfortable position. And I feel like the chase down potential is just so severe. You see T1 all sort of back off this angle. Keria gets a great ult that kind of holds the fight. And we see Oner nearly one-shotting Jackalov, but as soon as you start moving up with a slow on, you know, they're just getting another kill off the back of this.
Momentum. Yes, I'll do the play-by-play for that one. Mako died.
Yeah,
sorry, continue.
Thank you for your assessment. Yeah,
welcome,
I mean, T1 just really using their advantage so well here, and it's so hard to escape once you start getting connected by things like the slows from the Ashe, the Azir, and the Nidalee have so much chase potential as well with their mobility. Once Top Esports start losing the fight, it just goes south very quickly.
And Jackalov, if he was big, if he was fed, if he had a cash in, maybe he could go toe-to-toe with the front line, but you could see his damage numbers are so incredibly low. He's just so low range, and there's so much engage, there's so much poke as well. And even without Emperor's Divide, you just can't get close enough. It's really the Zyra that's doing all the damage in these team fights, as even 369 can't close the gap. Sunday's turret to protect. They've got control wards here. There's no flank angle for 369, and the siege is on. T1 cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure there's no angle for the Croc, and just siege this up. The Baron working a treat. 3,600 gold picked up here already.
Yeah, this is a big power play for T1 as they are pushing both mid and bottom lane. It might be just this turret falling down as Hex Flash there from Mako just to try and put some fear into T1, but I don't think it's going to stop this tower from being removed. There it goes. Arrow is going to sail by, though, as the Grasping Roots also not finding the mark. Top Esports just losing ground because you can see Zeus, he's able to get some personal time with this inhibitor turret. And that's going to go down exceptionally low. Look at this poke damage as well. As these spears land, like Tien just has to go back to base.
Yeah, the poke's brutal. They try and get a play on a Faker, and he just dashes away, makes sure not to knock anyone else up with the ult from Mako, and then, you know, you've lost one of your only real major engage tool, and T1 can just go back to harassing, pushing, and applying the pressure. Also have red buffs in pocket, so any poke on them does get healed up, and Mako nearly goes down there. This is just brutal.
If anything lands, you know, and it's not on the 369, people are losing half their health bars. You know, guaranteed with this comp. Baker has Emperor's Divide too, so it's a big deterrent for any sort of hard engage to come through from Tian. If you want to try to flash ult, for example, the spacing is good from T1, but he's got his ult. They have Zeus as a front line here. They have the Renata ultimate, so oppressive is the composition here of T1. GA bought third here for Guma. Is already doing so much damage in this game. You're going to have to kill him twice if you could do it once.
And it's it was a decent Baron power play here, as T1 have moved over that of a 10,000 gold lead here at 27 minutes. And yes, game one from Top Esports of this series was faster. It was dominant from the squad, but we haven't seen that from them since. And in this game, it's all coming up T1 as they look to move towards match point in this series. That was Mako going down. It was basically what I play-by-played before. I had an opportunity to do it again, and it was just Mako died, guys.
In game one, basically it. He had a lot of isolated deaths because they had no vision. It was super one-sided affair, right? But you know, it's not the same type of game here. I mean, game two, excuse me. Not the same type of game here. In this case, he's on a ward, but there's an arrow available. You have to play respectfully. I think you've got to just give up vision in that case, but, you know, it's just a good punish from T1. He might get punished again.
Yep, handshake. Not quite going to find the mark as the arrow sidestepped really nicely there by Mako. I don't think he could have played that any better to get himself out of the way. And even holds on to the flash.
And I think the only thing that could really come close to costing T1 this game is if they overcommit into like a big Stranglethorns.
Oh, he's going to come through there as it's Keria that's possibly caught out, but he just kills Mako. He's going to be going down. Yep. And that's Jackie Love getting a cash in the end. That's pretty cool. That's a little bit of extra money going over to the Draven, but he didn't have all that many stacks.
Yeah, it went from a 10,000 gold lead to like 9,500. So not really changing the state of the game, but at least Top Esports trying to find some angles in, trying to find some picks, because that's all they have right now. But 369 on the flank.
Yeah, Oner is going to spot him here as the Dominus has already been popped. You can see Faker. He's looking to get his way out. Zeus is very tanky, and yeah, there's just no way in. And it was already going to be really hard playing the Renekton in this composition. In this game state, it's virtually impossible.
Yeah, and that was the closest he had gotten since they got control and were pushing those lanes. That was the closest to a flank, the closest to maybe backline access that he was gonna get. Zeus picks up his third item here as well. He's at the Jack shows for a while, now has Randuin's, so difficult to break through that health bar now. And the Renekton that was massively ahead, a lane bully early on, just stands up to a tank Cassante now with no map control. His agency is limited. Now he does still have teleport, but there's no flanks for him just now as Mako, again, trying to clear some vision. T1 quick to punish.
Yep, there's the flash as Faker does have his flash available. There was a dredge line there though, so not gonna invest the flash, but oh no, as soon as the volley lands, the handshake definitely lands, and he's not able to get himself out. Mako dead once again.
Yeah, I love how they, Zeus looking.
There's the all out as Oner is gonna dive on forward. 1 versus 3 theoretically here for Zeus as the arrow is gonna sail by. Looked fantastic, Emperor's Divide does nothing. Does it matter? I'm not entirely sure because Faker's still gonna be able to kill Tien off the back end of it. And now T1 with such gigantic wallets are looking to move towards Nexus turrets now and reach match point here at EWC. Oh man, even that hostile takeover, Jackie Love doing a lot of damage to 369 as Cream able to throw some rockets in, and T1 are looking a little worse for wear. So they'll take an inhibitor turret on their way out, and the game is not over just yet. Teleport coming in. Another possible chance for a flank here for 369. Does he manage to get on top of Gumayusi? That's the question. The flash has to come through. He still had the GA. The Sterix comes down. Zeus is dead. And there it is. He manages to get rid of him, and a quadra kill for 369. Finally, the Croc gets what he's looking for.
Finally, he's got the flank ward. Finally, he gets to use the teleport, and the Croc is unlocked. He gets in, gets 4 kills here, cleans up T1 with a game state. It's going to feel nice to shore up some of that gold deficit. You might be able to get a Baron out of this one. It's going to be pretty easy with everyone dead on the side of T1. You've got enough damage here. There's no punish, but you still are 3 inhibitors down. The question becomes now, how much can you get done with this Baron? Bounties available here, but you have to push through double super minions in all these lanes. But if you can get and crack that gold out of these outers, there is so much standing money here on the map for Top Esports. If there was going to be a comeback, it starts with a play like this. 369 finally getting it done.
It was massive there, and now, you know, they have the bot inhib respawning, they have Baron buff which can help them defend, so they have time, which they did not have before. But here, T1 overstaying a fair bit on low health bars, and 369 goes in, great target selection onto Faker, who gets the Renata ult, the Renata W. He immediately jumps on a Guma, finishes him, finishes Faker again, finishes Guma again, and then dashes out for the cleanup. I mean, just flawless play, and you don't often see like it when you're this far behind in the game and you're playing Renekton. You don't think he's going to be the star of the team fights.
No, I wasn't ready for it, Ox. I absolutely wasn't ready for it. There was a GA already purchased on Gumayusi there as well, but you find the angle, and he gets in there and trusts 369 to find exactly the team fight that he was looking for right after I had a conversation about how basically impossible it was to do so.
We saw him try so many times. He was trying to flank. He didn't have really a great teleport ward. T1 were setting it up really well with their pushes. They had the flanks watched, but finally he finds the angle, and he's going to try to give them a chance for a comeback here. The gold lead now shrunk down to 4,500 here, and that's without really getting any of the bounty gold of these turrets. But you can see the super minions here are T1's best defense against this. 1 inhibitor now respawns, so it's down to 1 super minion per wave instead of 2. But top esports still have to try to defend this. As 369 look at the flank again.
Yep, this time Keria is going to find him as the arrow is going to connect onto Mako. T1 looking to get rid of the support once again, but he's able to walk it off. The Aftershock doing a lot of work as they're not quite able to get this inhibitor. Cream immediately having to Valkyrie away, and there's the redemption. T1 going to be able to take down this inhib. Still, they want to be able to get the respawning ones, but they're not going to be up again for a little while. They'll just wait for these super minions to start rolling in once again and rely on the sixth man to really turn the tables.
369's TP isn't too far away, and really I think they need that backup again, and maybe even the flash to have a similar play than before. They're trying to find something, but it's so hard if you're approaching T1 from one direction. The Bernardo gets so much value in that situation, so I think you just have to weather the storm. Chemtech's soul can be secured by T1 in 40 seconds, but honestly, I don't think that's a major concern. Elder may be what this game comes down to if top esports can keep stalling out.
Yeah, and getting prio for that Elder is going to be incredibly hard. You're going to have to make a sacrifice. You're going to have to all in on it, because if you leave for just a moment, especially with Faker's TP coming back up, Zeus has his. You know, later on, I mean, we're still a ways away from that. You're going to have to let this one go. As you say, we get to that Elder later on. If the teleports are available, your base is still open and naked. There's only one Nexus turret left. You have to win the fight. You have to be able to stop the backs. You have a Draven, so it's possible. We're talking about, you know, 5-6 minutes from now when that does all break out. But there is a world where top esports could come back to win this. It is not by any means impossible. It's just the super minions, as you mentioned, the sixth man here for T1 as the biggest issue. They're farming, they're getting this Draven to more damage numbers here. But T1 just not going to make any mistakes. Those wards, the teleport wards, no longer as relevant here. This 369 couldn't find that angle moments ago when it was more relevant.
And a 4,000 gold power play on the Baron there as well for top esports. Really utilizing that to get them back within touching distances. And it's at 35 minutes, right? That a 3,000 gold lead doesn't mean a whole lot. You can see 4.4K in the lead is 369. If he can find another one of these angles, we know that it can work out. But if he spends the whole time walking towards T1, then that is almost 5,000 gold doing absolutely nothing.
And this is where the pressure...
cut this down as Cream not going to be hit by the arrow there. Zeus hunts for the third Q. And now inhibitors back up once again. T1 right here to try and destroy them. And now 369 moving on over. Can he find yet another angle? He's on vision. T1 going to be very happy about that as they look to execute these waves. Top esports not wanting to let these inhibitors fall down. And that is Chemtech's soul that they have. It's not the biggest, but it is going to offer them that little bit extra here in these fights.
It's just so hard to approach in this situation. You really want to keep the inhibitors alive, because if they go down again, it's going to be so hard to leave your base. Baron in a minute 30, Elder in 4:30, but they're struggling to find the angle. And if you commit 369's TP and it backfires, the game is over. And even if you find a decent enough play, even if you stop them from taking your inhib, losing 369 summoners might be enough that you can't fight the Elder in a comfortable way. So a lot of decisions have to be made by top esports. What can they give up? What is worth sacrificing? And what can they not afford to give up?
And you can see how difficult it is for T1 to actually look for picks into this really fed Renekton as well. Like, they're massively ahead. They have these 3 inhibitors down, but it's hard for them to just say, okay, I'm sending it, I'm going to look for the pick, I'm going to end the game. They have to play so respectfully still. And the Chemtech Rift actually allows T1 to clear this vision, clear those teleport wards very well. They're doing a great job of it so far. You can see in these moments in the interim, some of these wards are set up. 2 wards here on the top side of the Rift now for 369 to potentially teleport to on their next push. And for T1, it's kind of a game of running out that Elder clock.
Ooh, arrow. It is going to spot them out as the spear is going to come on through, and Oner will be able to steal away the red buff. So that's T1's red. Top esports not able to get access to that one. And in fact, access to their jungle, it's at a premium at this point in the game. And they may have clawed back some of the gold advantage, but the map advantage has always been T1's after their early game went so well.
Found the ward too. One more up here to the top Keria nearby.
Oh my god!
Okay, feels like all at least.
If he lands another one of them, Tien's just dead.
Yeah, now they can move towards the Baron where the vision really is lacking for top esports. If you have to face check into this poke, it's going to be brutal, but you can't just give it over for free.
And Zyra is happy to just press the button.
369's caught!
369's gonna get caught out of position. He flashes towards Keria, but he just keeps him at arm's length. And the Crocodile will be taken down to his GA. And now Top Esports desperate to find some sort of retaliation. But there's even an arrow there to be thrown towards him. He's dead too fast for it to actually land. And now Super Minions are in the base of Top Esports. And T1 should be able to at least collect a Baron and then wander down the top lane.
Finally, they catch the Croc. You know, the Croc caught them last time, picks up a Quadra, but this time he's on the edge. He's trying to find the flank angle. They predict it. They cleared so much of that vision there for Top Esports. They knew the angle he was trying to take, and then they find him, kill him twice, and that's the end of the game.
Handshake comes in here from Keria as Cream not going to get hit by the hostile takeover. And so will keep himself alive. The Flash is now down. All the inhibitors going to be down. There is one Nexus turret left available. And T1 should be able to get rid of that one as well. There's a knockoff from Dracula, but he cleanses and flashes, gets himself out of the way. Still Zeus gets on top of the Draven, and the Nexus will just explode. T1, match point here at EWC.